Today I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step process of making a glow-in-the-dark sublimation tumbler that is 90s themed. So subscribe and let's get started. For this tutorial, we are using a glow-in-the-dark sublimation tumbler from Pro World. What I love about it is that it is white. I've tried some of the spray paints and the other things and they have a yellow tint to them, but I love how white this is, and it's actually kind of got a matte finish. Before we can do anything, we need to measure the tumbler to see how big our print needs to be. So take your tape measure and measure the length. And while 8 inches goes to the bottom, I don't actually like mine to be that long, so I tend to do like a 7.9 when it comes to the height. And then all the way around here is about 9 3/8, which is 9.375. So we want it to be 8 by 9.375, maybe 9.4 or 9.38, so you can size that accordingly. I am just going to quickly walk through how I created this design using images I found on Creative Fabrica. I will link below what I used. I copied all of the individual images into Adobe Illustrator and just played around with them and sized them, duplicated them and moved them around until I was happy. My canvas is 9.3 by 7.9, which we talked about earlier, but I'm just moving these around until I like them. I also felt like I needed a little bit more in the design, like some textures and some backgrounds, so I opened up my design in Procreate. So I'm using my iPad and my Apple Pencil, and I'm just adding some kind of 90s themed doodles, like the squiggles and the dashes, and I'm doing some shapes as well. You'll see me messing around with my layers because I wanted to make some like triangles and circles, really just giving like that full 90s vibe. And to do the triangle, I started with the top color, which I color matched from the colors in the design. I created a new layer and did the sort of background triangle in the purple. You can hold down with your finger to pick up colors. So I was just picking up colors that were already in this design. And then I added a few black elements and just continued to fill this in until I was happy. But even then I was like, you know what? It needs a little something else. So I created a new layer, went into my spray painting brushes and did the paint flakes option and added some of the spray paint flake design in that background in various different colors from this design. And then I pulled that layer all the way to the back. So then I took that design and uploaded it into the Sawgrass Creative Studio to print it on my Sawgrass printer that I also got from Pro World. And then I was ready to actually sublimate my design. The first thing you need to do is trim off any excess paper from the design, and then you can tape it to your tumbler. You want to make sure that you have good quality paper and sublimation equipment. All of mine is from Pro World. And then you need heat tape to apply this to your tumbler. I got the tape and the dispenser on Amazon. Everything is linked below. And since I'm using a tumbler press, I do not need a lot of tape. Honestly, this is more tape than I normally do, but that's okay. It doesn't hurt to have more. You just really don't need that much when you're using a tumbler press. What I'm going to do is put this in my Trans Pro Plus mug press at 375 degrees for 75 seconds. I rotate it about every 20 seconds ish. It doesn't have to be exact, but just to make sure that every piece of the tumbler gets baked in there. I like to set it down on a hot pad and let it cool for a few minutes before I move it over to remove that sublimation paper. You want a heat glove to protect your hands, but you'll see that it literally turns out perfect. And I totally contribute that to my equipment from Pro World. And I am literally obsessed with this design. The 90s kid in me is just, I can't wait to use it. So you can see how vibrant the colors are and how good it looks just in the regular light. And you'll see how good it looks glow in the dark. All of the white space is still that green, but you can see that the design still shows up, especially the darker pieces of that print. If you want to see 5 fun sublimation designs you can make for teachers, watch the video on your screen.